Hi, I'm Chuck Leavell. A lot of you folks out there know me for my musical career, having worked with the Allman Brothers Band, with the Rolling Stones, with Eric Clapton, George Harrison. But many of you also know that I am a tree farmer.
How you can have clean air, clean water, abundant wildlife, recreation, and all those wood products at the same time.
You've got to give a tree time to grow, otherwise you'll never have the tree. And if you want a quality tree, you've got to give it a little more time because it doesn't grow as fast.
You know, let's not forget something. Mankind is part of this equation. It's up to us to be good stewards of our forests and our lands.
You fit the mill to the resource. You don't fit the resource to the mill.
All forests, all of these forests, whether they're being used for wood production or not, are working forests.
My wife, Rose Lane, and I own and manage this place, Charlane Plantation, here in central Georgia. And here we grow what we call southern yellow pine. And of course, that's not the only kind of trees that we have. We have a variety of trees here, lots of different oaks and elms and all kinds of acorn-bearing trees and fruit-bearing trees as well. But we concentrate on what we call our southern forest, southern yellow pine. And in this video presentation, we're going to explore forests all over our country, from California to Maine to the pinelands of New Jersey and the pinelands right here in the South. And we're going to talk about all the things that the forest gives us, materials to make our books and magazines and newspapers, and materials to build homes and schools and churches, and also places to provide home and shelter for wildlife, and to have biodiversity. And we have all kinds of different biodiversity throughout our country, depending on the different kind of forests and species that we have. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. We're going to learn a lot, and we're going to explore what working forests of America are all about.
A working forest, its future with fire, people, and wildlife.
Today we're looking at an Atlantic white cedar stand around us that has been or is in the process of being clear cut. It is one of the silvicultural systems we use to regenerate stands. A lot of people have used this as a quick way to make a buck, but in our science of looking at this, the Atlantic white cedar seedlings you see on the ground, the amount of seeds that will germinate, the growth rates that are necessary for them to become an Atlantic white cedar stand are the conditions that a clear cut will give them. In other words, a lot of sunlight, and then opening up the competitive nature of the soil beneath them in terms of water and nutrients that are available to them.
This is a planted stand that my wife Rose Lane and I planted about 22 years ago. And we have just recently done our first thinning here, about a year ago actually, that we finalized this first thinning, and the method of thinning was to go in and take out every fifth row completely. This gives the machinery place to operate, and then they can reach in and take select trees that we have marked, and of course the object is to leave the forest with the healthiest trees possible.
In our forest management plan, it also tells how many acres we're going to try to achieve in 150 years of various forest cover types. And with those applications of different cutting regimes, we apply different silvicultural tests, different cutting regimes. One of those that we use a lot of on Menominee, because we have a lot of northern hardwood, is single tree selection, where we take out the worst tree and leave the best. Is kind of one of the key things that has enabled us to survive. That's why we have big trees yet, and that's why we have a lot of diversity yet.
In about the past 50 years, we've really stepped up our program of prescribed burning. What we do prescribed burning for is hazard reduction here in New Jersey. And we've reduced the hazard by burning off the underbrush and the dead fine fuels that exist on the forest floor. This gives an opportunity to reduce the ladder fuels that in the event of a large fire would carry the fire into the crowns. And it also, it's healthier for the forest and cleans off the dead stuff and allows for the new stuff to grow up.
We can make so much headway with fire. We can reduce competition, we can eliminate unnecessary plants, things that we call weeds. We can reduce the amount of leaf and other litter on the ground, and we can reduce slash. So fire is a great tool, and I wish we used it more often.
We say that prescribed fire is a safe way to apply a natural process, ensure ecosystem health, and reduce the risk of catastrophic wildfires.
Sweet gum is actually a bottomland species, and in the absence of fire, as we suppressed fire over the last century, the sweet gum has invaded these upland pine stands, and it's resulted in a real loss of biodiversity. So we've been cutting sweet gum out of here, and we've been burning sweet gum out of here and opening it back up, getting the light on the ground and getting a lot of plant diversity that translates into animal diversity. We have a lot of non-game birds. In fact, we have twice as many non-game birds here since we started managing than we do in other parts of the park where we haven't been managing.
Both management techniques, thinning, burning, cutting trees, can help wildlife. Wildlife depend on certain forest structures that require active management. Through these forest management techniques, we are able to help both threatened and endangered species, as well as all the common species that still need specific habitat requirements.
And the question is, do we want to allow the forest to grow in a healthy manner and enhance that natural dynamic, or do we want to create this static sort of museum, which we know we can't, that we can't contain, and try and engage in activities to prevent anything from occurring in the pinelands? And I think forest management that enhances the natural environment is where we want to be. It's just, again, allowing those activities to occur in a manner that does exactly achieve that goal.
Environmentalists and people that work within the forest industry, I think we're all beginning now to harmonize and make some beautiful music together to say, wow, you know, this is the most precious natural resource that we have, and if we're careful and use it wisely, we're going to be okay.